From where the West begins in Fort Worth, Texas to around the globe, you are listening to Talk of the Night. I'm your host, Paranormal Phil, and later on in the show tonight, we're going to open up the phone lines where you, the listeners, can call in, share your stories, experiences, or even ask a question. It doesn't have to be about the paranormal. It can be about just about anything except for sports or music. But first, up on the Talk of the Night website under the story of the day, gigantic cow becomes internet sensation. I'm sure everybody's seen this already. It's made its rounds on social media. But an absolutely enormous 1,400 kilogram steer named Knickers is believed to be the largest of its kind in Australia. The distinctive black and white Holstein whatever that word is, was reportedly saved from the slaughterhouse because it was too heavy and since became something of a internet celebrity. I cannot talk tonight. We had a high turnover of cows, and he was lucky enough to stay behind, said owner Gia Pearson. In recently released footage, the enormous bovine can be seen happily grazing in a field while surrounded by dozens of regular cows who seem unperturbed by the giant-sized counterpart. Knickers will now live out the rest of his days in the field around Lake Preston in Perth. And of course, you can read the rest of the story by clicking on the link on the top of the Talk of the Night website. Now, I'm going to share that I am live now, but the numbers to call in, because I don't post the numbers at the beginning of the show, but we're going to open the lines up in a moment, but the numbers to call in are by Skype, by using the Skype name Talk in the Night, or by phone at 817-717-5561. And you can call in, share your stories, experiences, or even ask a question. Also, tonight, I am going to be giving away 4 books to lucky listeners. Only 1 book per listener, and you must call in to win the books. I'm going to start giving those away after the first commercial break. And like I said, I'm just sharing that I am live right now. And then I will get started into open lines. All right. So that's posted. All right. So, like I said, if you have any stories, experiences, or even got a question, like I said, doesn't have to be about the paranormal. It can be just about anything. Yes, I'm a jack of all trades. I've learned quite a bit of knowledge in my almost 45 years. So, and I can tell you, I've been through a lot of it. So, I'm pretty certain I can answer just about any question. All right, so let's get into open lines here, and we're going to start with some questions here from sites. And like I said, you can call in, again, Talk in the Night by Skype or by phone at 817-717-5561. All right, let's find a good question. Okay. Let's find a good question here. Now, let's see here. Oh, and I want to welcome Nicole to the chat. Also, if you want to pop in the chat, you don't have to call in unless you want to win the book. Then you have to call in. But if you're listening to the show, sign up for a free account on Spreaker, and then, of course, follow the show and pop in the chat, join the discussion and everything like that. I'm in there. I pay attention to the chat room when I'm live, so I interact with you, the listeners. So I was just real quick checking the chat room, see if we had anybody in there or any questions in there, because you can ask your questions or share your stories or experiences there. You don't have to call in. Let's see. Let's find a good question here. Now, here's one. How long have Ouija boards been in existence, and has anyone had a paranormal experience with one? I have, but it was back in 1992 when I first got into the field. It was not a good experience, but that was my one and only experience with them. Now, of course, as I've said many times before, the board is not bad. It's the intent that you put into it. And what intent you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Now, as far as how long they've been around, I would have to look that up. I'm not certain offhand, but they've been around quite a while. Let's see. So we got a question here in the chat. Can someone become possessed by using an ITC app? No. No. Again, with the intent that is put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And you might not know it, but you might be putting in that wrong intent into it. Because I've seen this many times where somebody is doing something, whether it's Ouija boards or anything like that, and they think they're putting the good intent into it, but they're not putting the right good intent into it. And they're bound to get something coming through that doorway that they don't want to mess with. But as far as possession from using an app, no. I can tell you right off the bat, no. Now, you might have that spirit haunting you, yes, but possessed, no. Let's get to another question here, and let's go to a UFO and alien question. Let's see. Or actually, let's see here. I'm just trying to get to it. Oh, it's a video. I'm not going to share it, but I'm going to play it just to look and see here. And just kind of watch and see what... Okay, yeah, that strange movement and nothing in our known military arsenal or any type of aircraft that we know of cannot move in a zigzag motion like that. Yes, helicopters can kind of change directions pretty quickly, but as far as at that high speed, no. Now, I've seen a UFO a long while back. And a UFO, of course, is just that, an unidentified flying object. It does not mean that it is extraterrestrial in nature. Doesn't mean that it's from outer space. It's not little green men or anything like that. It just means that we don't know what it is. And getting back to my story is this thing shot across the sky, stopped at a very high speed, stopped on a dime, and then zipped back the other direction before zipping back in the direction it was headed. Now, I don't know of any craft that can actually move like that in our known craft, whether it's public or military. Now, of course, there are reports of our military re-engineering extraterrestrial craft. So they could be testing something like that, but we don't know. Of course, there's a lot of secret bases out there. One being the famous one, known one, is Area 51, but there are other places that have secret military testing besides Area 51. And I'm not talking about Area 52. There's a place in Colorado, a military base that has secret testing. Right, Patterson Airfield, believe they've done some secret aircraft testing. There have been plenty of other places that have done secret aircraft testing. Look at how long it took to come out that we had the SR-71 or the stealth bomber. Those were tested, and of course some of those might have been described as UFOs back before we knew they were military aircraft. Again, doesn't mean that it's extraterrestrial. It just means something we could identify at the time. So we got another question. Can a craft move very hot? Okay, very H if high speeds up. Now, if you're talking about regular aircraft or even military, yes, we got some craft that can move at very high speeds. There's plenty of them that can break the sound barrier. Okay, very fast. If high speed up in the sky, high up in the sky, yes. Again, I mean, normal aircraft are at least traveling at 500 miles per hour. Now, sometimes it kind of looks like they're moving a lot slower than they are when you look up and see them moving. And I'm talking about commercial aircraft. But it's because of the distance between us and the aircraft itself that makes it look like it's moving slower. But there are craft out there that can move at supersonic speeds that, yes, they could be experimental aircraft. They could be other aircraft that can move very quickly. I can't tell you which ones, but if you look at the past history, like the SR-71, it was a spy plane that could move at very high altitudes and very fast speeds. So, yes, our military could be testing something like that, and I'm most certain they are testing things like that. So, Yes, to answer your question, yes, they can move at very high speeds at very high altitudes. All right, so again, and I'm just clicking on something here because I gotta see something here, but we're gonna get into more questions here. I'm just trying to get to a question here. Now, like last night's guest, we were talking about the TV shows. I was talking about them with my guest, Laurie Champion, near the end of the show. And the TV shows, I've been asked this so many times, why do they do those shows at night and everything like that? And it's because of not only the ratings, but the creepy factor. Spirits can show up during the day. Now, as we talked about those infrared cameras, security cameras, they are in a different light spectrum, or use a different light spectrum to where we can see in complete darkness. They use an infrared light, and there are plenty of tools out there, full spectrum cameras, trying to think of the name of it, but the FLIR, stuff like that. They can pick up a full spectrum of light to where we can't see it with the naked eye. Basically, seeing something in total darkness where most of us cannot see in total darkness. Of course, I've always said that I got cat eyes. I can see in almost complete darkness. I can move around a ship out at sea on the deck while it's tossing and turning and walk perfectly fine. Or at least I could back when I was in the military, in the Navy. I literally, while we were out to sea, I would run around the deck in complete darkness. And of course, when you're out to sea, there is no lights. So I can see in practically complete darkness. I do need a little tiny bit of light, like moonlight and stuff like that, or just like the glow of the night, but from the stars. But other than that, I can see in complete darkness. So I've always said that I had cat eyes. All right, so I'm trying to get to a question here. But I want to go back to the TV shows and everything like that. Now, as my guest stated last night, a lot of those on the TV shows are actors. They're not true investigators. And I'm not going to say all of them are bad, but they have no clue into what goes on with a lot of this stuff. They're pretty much almost, I want to say, handed a script. Not technically handed the script, but basically they got outline that they kind of follow. Now, of course, with the paranormal, it is very unpredictable. There's no telling when you might get a EVP, capture some anomaly on camera. It don't happen all the time. There's been plenty of times when I've gone into a location and sat there for about an hour in the complete darkness with a digital recorder and caught nothing. Then there's been times where the activity's been off the charts. It also depends on the location and what the haunting is. David Ullman's house is a prime example of that. And, of course, even there, there have been times that it has been very quiet and not much activity going on. I've sit in a room in David Ullman's house doing an EVP session, got nothing. So it all depends on when and where the spirits want to make their presence known. Excuse me. And I hope I'm not coming down with a cold. But this strange up and down weather. And of course, not only the strange weather that's out there, but even the earth activities with that earthquake up in Anchorage, Alaska. I knew there was a lot of vibrations going on all over the world where earthquake activity is popping up, or that vibration is. So are we headed for something? I can't tell you that. I don't have the answer for that, and the spirits aren't telling me. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens. But there is that possibility of a good-sized earthquake up there because it is in the Pacific Ring of Fire. So unless activity really kicks up, there's a swarm of earthquakes, then that's time to kind of look at it and see what's going on. But just one earthquake, I mean, there ain't really much you can do about it. Now, of course, here in Fort Worth, like an hour before the show, there was a tornado watch, I should say, that passed just to the north of us. Fast-moving line of thunderstorms, and I don't know if anything touched down, but there was some pretty good lightning strikes and everything like that I was able to catch video of. But like I said, all we got was pretty much the heavy rain. Nothing, no damaging winds, even though the winds did pick up during that storm passing through. All right, but back to the TV shows, because I keep getting sidetracked, and I want to mention this, is what you see on those shows is only a very small fraction of what goes on in an actual investigation. Now, my guest said that they're not really doing it the right way, but what I'm getting to is that what you see on that show is all edited out and are edited to fit in that hour, and they want to do it in a way that brings ratings. But I've said it many times again, if you want to know about what an actual investigation consists of, feel free to contact me at Talk of the Night, and I will get that with you. Now, there is a difference between ghost investigation and actual research. Because there are people out there that, because of these TV shows, it's brought a lot of, I want to say, fame to the paranormal field. But at the same time, it has kind of ruined the reputation of those that are truly trying to research the paranormal field and get answers for the clients. And because there are people that just want to go out there and investigate, whether it be a cemetery, an old abandoned building, or just find out about something, but they don't actually find out about what actually the spirits are doing there, why they're haunting the place. They don't do the research into it. They just want that cheap thrill. And of course, me, when I was in the field, I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know why the spirit was there, why the haunting was going on, stuff like that. And I wanted to get to the bottom with it. So I was more of a researcher than just the investigator. So I'm going to get to the question here that's in the chat after the commercial break. If I can get to this site real quick. And I just wanted to see something here on this thing about the paranormal. I don't see anything about TV shows. But again, like I said, that whole thing with the TV shows, take it with a grain of salt. What you watch is not going to be what you're going to experience if you ever went on one. So, of course, the question in the chat, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to get to the answer on this, but because it has to do with weather activity. And, of course, the paranormal. But I want, speaking of weather, with all the strange weather that we've had, I've seen recent videos where people posted about that strange humming sound in the sky and stuff like that. And we can't say for certain what is causing that, but there is, if you read a lot into it, and you might say, I'm a conspiracy nut or anything like that, that's fine. If that's your belief system, if you want to call me that, it's not going to affect me none. But I believe that HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, high atmospheric aurora, I can't remember what it all stood for, but it tested the ions in the atmosphere, and they shoot this energy wave into the sky to kind of test the ionosphere. I don't know if I can ever pronounce that word, but it could be causing those humming sounds that a lot of people hear around the world. As well as there are people that believe that a beam from that high energy wave causes stuff like earthquakes, tornadoes, severe weather, can direct hurricanes. There is no proof on it. It's just basically one's opinion. Now, do I believe that it is doing that? Do I believe that they have the ability to control the weather? Quite possible, but I don't have the answers for that. And I doubt we'll ever get the answers for that. So when we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you want to call in, share your stories, experiences, or ask a question, they'll be open. Also, in the second, after the commercial break, we're going to give one lucky listener a chance to win a book. We'll be right back.
Voices in my head know me, call me. I will be restless. Somehow they chose me. This is my nightlife. Wanna be high life. I feel so reckless, calling them all night. I'm calling.
For those on Santa's ghost hunting list, GhostStop.com has what you need to put that great gift under the tree. Right now in time for Christmas, GhostStop.com has a S-Box Ghost Scanner, new and now on sale for $69.95. Or how about something to stuff the stockings with by getting a laser grid scope for just $18.95. Just click on the banner ad at the top of the Talk of the Night website and get Christmas shopping today. GhostStop.com, your one-stop shop for all your ghost hunting needs. Do you have a paranormal team? Are you a small-time author? Do you have a radio show that you would like to promote? Is there anything that you would like to get the word out there about but don't have a big budget? Well, Talking the Night has an opportunity for you to sponsor the show without breaking your wallet. Contact the show at talkingthenight@outlook.com or on the show's website or Facebook page for more details. For those on your Christmas list that love the paranormal and love to read by a fireplace, pick up a copy of Nicole Gaspard's book, Haunted Vessels and Cursed Objects. You can find the book on Amazon.com, on the Barnes & Noble website, or by clicking on the banner ad on the Talk of the Night website. Pick up a copy for that book-reading, paranormal-loving fan.
I've called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call, you never seem to be home. Hello from the outside.
To call into the show, Skype Talking the Night, or by phone at 817-717-5561. And now back to Talking the Night with more of your open line phone calls. Okay, and we are back with more open line phone calls or any questions that you might have in the chat. Pop in there, say hi, let me know you're listening. Or call in. Don't be shy. I'm not going to bite. And trust me, I will answer your questions. Now, of course, from now until the end of the show, I'm going to be giving away 4 books. You must call in to win the book. I'll take the first caller. I'm not doing caller number 5 or anything like that. That's when I only have 1 book. But I want to give away these books to my listeners. So you must call into the show, and the first caller will get the book. So the first book, let me mention the books that I'm going to be giving away from my guests first, and then I'll mention what book I'm going to give away right now. So the books that are being given away are 3 of them are from my guests for this week, and 1 is from the week before Thanksgiving that I did have veterans on the show. I never gave away the book, and I forgot to run something to where people could win the book the week, Thanksgiving week and everything like that. But the books are Lola Scarborough's book, Fighting for Her Tits, Eva Fulton's Welcome to My People Garden, Lori Champion, you'll get a Kindle copy of Bringing the Paranormal Field Out of the Dark Ages. And, of course, Jennifer Noel Taylor's book, Spiritual and Broke. Once it comes out, you'll get a copy of that, plus her other book, Love Incorporated. So those are the books I'm going to be giving away tonight. The first book I'm going to be giving away, the first person to call gets the book. Only 1 book per listener. All right, so the first book I'm going to give away is Lola Scarborough's Fighting for Our Tits. If you want that book, it goes on about the holistic approach to healing our body and stuff for breast cancer, or ways to prevent getting it, I should say. So if you want that book, call into the show at Skype at Talk of the Night, or by phone at 817-717-5561. Also, if you want to call in, share your stories, experiences, or questions, you can do that as well. Now, let's get back to the question that I had asked me before the commercial break, and that is, does this type of weather stir up activity or no? And yes, the strange weather the high energy filled in the weather, especially if you get thunderstorms, can increase activity. Again, we don't know for certain if that's the case, but again, there is so much in the paranormal field that we can only speculate on, but to give you a truthful answer, we don't know. So again, it's most of the stuff in the field are just pure speculation, our own opinions. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, if you want to win Lola Scarborough's Fighting for Our Tits, call into the show because near the end of this segment, I'm going to be giving away another book. But don't call in if you don't want this book. If you want one of the other books, call in when that book comes up. It's up to you. If you want to win this book and get this book, you must call now, though. All right, so let's get into a question. What annoys you the most about those paranormal TV shows? And I pulled this up because I was talking about the TV shows and everything like that. And what annoys me the most about them is they don't do the research. They don't show the research that went into it. Everything. Let's see. We got a call coming in. Hello, you're on there on Talk of the Night. Did you want to win the book, or did you have a story, experience, or a question?
Hi, yes, I'd like to win the book.
Okay. Well, you got the book, Nicole, cool. And I will get that email out to you to let you know that where to get that book and everything like that.
Okay.
All right. Did you have a question or story or anything that you wanted to share or anything like that?
No, I just think of right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. All right. And it's that simple. You can win the book by just calling into the show and say you want to win the book. Simple as that. So Nicole Gaspard gets the book by Lola Scarborough, Fighting for Our Tits. And when you call in, I will have, if I don't know who you are and I don't have a contact for you, I will have you send me a email to the show and let me know your email address, or contact me on the show's website, Facebook page, or something like that with your email address, and I will get that book out to you. Or, well, the guest will get that. The person that's giving away the book will get that book out to you, because I don't have the copy on me. I used to have the books sent to me, and I would send them out, but I don't do that anymore. Just not what I want to do. So Nicole gets the book, and I'm doing something so I know who gets the book. So, getting back to that question about what annoys me the most about those paranormal TV shows. And like I said, it is the fact that they don't show the research, or they don't, a lot of them don't respect the spirits, especially Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures. He is very rude to the spirits, and of course, he's getting attacked, his crew's getting attacked, all because they don't show the respect to the spirits. Even the light spirits can get fed up and show you, okay, you want to see what I can do? Here, I'll do something. So that's one big thing about these TV shows is they do not show or show respect to the spirits. The spirits should be respected as much as you would respect somebody of the living. Now, I want to mention that in about, I want to say about 8 minutes, I'm going to give another listener a chance to win another book. And I'm just typing something in the chat room. And like I said, on Spreaker.com, I interact with the listeners and everything like that. So if you're just listening into the show, I mean, that's fine to get the answers. But wouldn't it be more fun to join the discussion in the chat room? Or even call in and share your stories, experiences, or questions. So, let's get into some other questions here. And I'm going to go out of the paranormal field and get into something else, if it'll load up here. And again, I do have experience in other topics other than just the paranormal. I can answer questions on dating and relationships. I can answer stuff on conspiracies. All kinds of things. So it doesn't have to be just about the paranormal. All right. Just seeing something. So I'm waiting for this question to. Now here is a question in the dating and relationship, single and dating, and there's a couple I want to get here too. The first one is, would you ever date someone in an open relationship? And what an open relationship is where two people are in a relationship, but they allow that other person to see somebody else. Now, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's definitely not my cup of tea. I'm a one-woman man. That's who I'm going to stick with. And that's the kind of person that I want. I don't want somebody that I have to share my time with somebody else. Now, if it's you go on one date and then they go and see somebody else, just to see, kind of play the field in a sense, that's not considered an open relationship. That's somebody just, okay, I don't think that went anywhere. Let me try somebody else. That's not an open relationship. It's open relationship is a committed relationship where two people are a couple, whether it's dating, whether it's engaged, whether it's married, but they're together and they're allowing their partner to go see other people, both men or women. It doesn't matter what side of the couple is allowing the other one to do this, or if it's both of them. But, of course, I would not want that. And thanks, Nicole, for sharing the show and letting Bill know. Thought he was at work. Now, I do have listeners, diehard listeners to the show. And hopefully you're as well as a diehard listener. Or if you're new to the show, I do Friday night open lines every Friday night. So you can call in, share your stories, and if I get a book from my guest, I'll give them away like I'm doing tonight. Which I already gave away one book. Again, one book per listener. So if you win a book, you don't have a chance to win the book again, or at least not tonight. If I don't get the other books given away, I will give them away at a later time. But they will be given away. So, that was the first question in the whole single and dating thing. There was another one that I wanted to get to, and this is more of a self-esteem question that a lot of people face or anything like that. And as soon as I answer this question, I'm going to give away another book, or give a listener a chance to win another book. And that is, the question is, if I'm fat, will women ever find me attractive? And there is always somebody that is going to find you attractive. Don't let that hold you back. I mean, I got a gut myself. I've been through bad relationships where the women lied, cheated on me, stuff like that. And there was a time that I actually felt down and not feeling like I was ever going to find somebody. And, of course, I end up finding somebody, although it's been a while. But don't let somebody else's opinion of you ruin your thought on who you are. Because there's that saying, you got to love yourself before you can love somebody else. And if you do not love yourself, then or you don't have the time to mate with somebody else, then that's not the right time for you to get out there and find somebody. Now, of course, right now, I don't have the time, so I'm holding off on finding somebody until I have the time. But as far as my looks, I'm not going to let that affect who I am, because I know there's somebody out there that's going to love me for who I am. Not about my looks, because looks fade. They're not always going to be there. You're not going to be Cindy Crawford looking good when you're young and old. Although some people can do that. Cindy is a prime example, but not everybody's going to be like that, and everybody's got their own flaws. You got to love the person for who they are and not what they look like. So I'm going to give away another book. You must call in to win the book. like I said, if you already won a book, you cannot win another book tonight. So, the next book I'm going to give away is Eva Fulton's book, Welcome to My People Garden. It's a book about connecting with other people. No, it's not like a Soylent Green type thing. It is, she's not growing people out of her garden. It's like connecting and networking with other people to help you get where you need to be. So if from now until I get ready to give away my next book that I'm going to give away, you have a chance to win Eva Fulton's Welcome to My People Garden. Now, I'm going to run that contest after the commercial break. So you must call into the show by Skype at Talk of the Night or by phone at 817-717-5561. If you want to win that book, you must call in to win. Only one book per listener. All right, so let's get into some more questions here. Let's get back to the whole paranormal field, and let's go into a cryptid creatures, cryptozoology field and get a question. Okay, now this one seems interesting. I don't know if it's a question or a story or what. Oh, okay. Now it says a 2-foot tall squirrel, and I'm looking at this picture, and it says we have a 2-foot tall squirrel. North Carolina biologists posted a photo of one, and it's huge. North Carolinians have come to expect rattlesnakes, bears, alligators, and possibly even Bigfoot in the wooded areas, but state wildlife officials posted images this month of a lesser-known oddity just as startling, a 2-foot tall squirrel. Now, this squirrel, it could be 2 foot tall, it could have just been zoomed in and edited with so much software, photo editing software out there. Yeah, something like that can be edited. But then again, like that story that I talked about at the beginning of the show with the gigantic cow that has made the rounds on the internet and became an internet sensation, internet celebrity. That thing is huge. So, is there possibly a 2-foot squirrel? Quite possible. Could something be are we genetically modifying, because I know we do a lot of GMO testing and put a lot of GMOs in our food system and everything like that, and could that stuff that we're feeding these animals be causing this gigantism, where these creatures are getting huge? I don't have the answer, but again, it's quite possible. I mean, like I said, a 2-foot squirrel is not out of the realm of possibility, but it does have, I mean, just looking at the picture, it does have a weird look to it. Like it looks like it was, as a matter of fact, I want to look a little closer because it doesn't look like a squirrel in a sense. I mean, it's got the squirrel tail, but the squirrel tail looks like it was added on to this other animal, almost like it was photoshopped. So again, there is that possibility of the image being altered. But again, it's not out of the realm of possibility of something like this existing. There are still creatures that we're still finding out about today that we never thought we would know about. There's so much in the oceans that we don't know about. We know more about space than we do about the depths in our ocean. What creatures lie down in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, the Mariana Trench. Some people believe that megalodons still exist down there in the trench. Some believe that if you've ever watched the Meg and everything like that, I watched that last week. And they talked about a layer beneath the, it was like a false bottom to the ocean floor. And they busted through it, and this cloud of hydrosulfur layer and everything, and were able to go down deeper. Well, I'm not going to give away too much of the plot of the movie if you haven't seen it, but they went down there, they came back up, and when they came back up, it opened a little short passageway for the megalodon to come through. But could that be the truth, that there is something like that down there that is keeping these creatures down there to where we don't know what they are? Take the Loch Ness Monster, for example. Some believe that it is an interdimensional being. Some believe that there is an open passageway from the loch to go out into the ocean. Some believe that it's appearing, the same creature is appearing in different places, like Lake Champlain's got Champ. Some believe that the Loch Ness Monster is visiting Lake Champlain by going through the ocean or some kind of wormhole to be Champ. I mean, there's so many possibilities out there. And, of course, we don't have the answer on what these creatures are. We don't have the answers on how they're getting there, how they're staying there, or anything like that. So, again, it's just, there's a lot out there that we don't know about. So, if you want to win Eva Fulton's book, you still have a chance after the commercial break to win the book. I'll probably run it for another 10 minutes after we come back. After that, I will give away another book, and I will put that one on the shelf for somebody else to win at a later time. But we're going to take another commercial break. We're at the top of the hour, but we'll be right back after this short commercial break with more of your open phone line and questions. We'll be right back.
My head is heavy, let me lay it down. Into your lap I would love to drown. I need that story I used to hear, to run on into and disappear. I won't lie down and I won't, I won't lie down, and I can't do this without you. I won't lie down and I won't, I won't lie down, and I can't do this without you. Your stories, they come from the heart. Glue me together and tear me apart.
Do you have a talk radio, Facebook Live, or YouTube show and would like guests for your show but don't know where to go to get them? Well, go to radioguestlist.com and sign up today. They have all different experts in different fields, and you can find the ones that are just right for your show. That's radioguestlist.com. Sign up today. It's free.
If you like finding out about different things in the paranormal field, such as ghost stories, haunted locations, UFOs, cryptozoology, and much more, well, check out Into the Paranormal on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Videos are posted once a week. When you click on the banner ad at the top of the Talkin' the Night website for Lola Scarborough, contact her and mention Talkin' the Night. You will receive a 10% off discount code and link for the book, Fighting for Our Tents. And on Friday night, one lucky listener will have a chance to win a hardcover copy of the book.
Don't hold me back. God knows I've been through this before. I can taste it in the air, and it leaves me wanting more. You crossed me once, it's left a bitter taste, and now you push me, I will tear you down.
To call into the show, Skype Talkin' the Night, or by phone at 817-717-5561. And now back to Talkin' the Night with more of your open line phone calls. Okay, and the phone lines are open. If you want to call into the show, you got 10 minutes, or actually 7 minutes, for your chance to win Eva Fulton's book, Welcome to My People Garden. After that, I'm going to give away another book after like 5 minutes after that, for somebody to win. Only one listener, one caller, one listener will win the book. Only one book per listener. That's what I was trying to get out. And because I don't want to give the same book or all the books to one listener. I want one listener. I want to give away the book to multiple listeners, but you must call in during open lines. If you're listening to the show recorded, you do not have a chance to win it until the next time, or when I decide to give people a chance to win. Now, of course, I want to mention before I get into any more questions is that next week, because of personal issues, I am going to take the week off. But I'm going to be back the following week with the show. But next week, I'm going to run rebroadcast of the show just because of personal issues that I got to take care of first. So I hope you understand. Now, let's get into some current events, and I know this is going to probably touch people's heartstrings, probably, and everything like that, but you've probably seen the whole, we're going to get into some current events, but you've seen the thing with the tear gassing of the migrants. Well, this question is, what do you think of the tear gassing of the migrant children? And it's not just the children that are getting tear gas. I mean, these bad people are in with this group. And just like terrorists over in the Middle East, they're going to integrate with the good people and when we go into strike and everything like that to take these people out, we possibly could hit innocent people because these people are cowards. They hide behind the innocent. Now, with the tear gassing part, they were tear gassed out in the open. And, of course, if you've ever been in the military, you probably went through the gas chamber. And it's not all that bad. And we did it indoors. We had a gas mask on. We had to take it off. We had to stand there and wait to be asked a question. And we had to answer that question before we could leave that room full of tear gas. And, of course, it'll make you sick, but I had no ill effects other than could not breathe for a moment after I got out. But these people are tear gassed out in the open. And, yes, it'll affect you for a moment, but being out in the open, that tear gas is going to disperse a lot quicker than it would in a closed room, which I've went through. So, again, with the whole thing, these bad people are going to integrate themselves in with the good people so that they can hurt the innocent people. I mean, the people that are in this caravan, there are some good people there. It's just that the bad ones are integrating themselves in with them to hide behind the shield, if you will, of innocent people. And, of course, my thought on the whole border wall thing and everything like this is, don't cut my head off on this. This is my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinion. I'm not going to tear down somebody else's opinion. But I think we need stricter immigration laws. But I'm not saying don't let people in, but not the way that these people want to come into this country. We got enough homeless people, homeless veterans that should be taken care of first. Legal citizens of this country. And, of course, our economy, we got a good economy, but a lot of people are still struggling to make ends meet because we're not taking care of our people first. We're taking care of people from other countries that are coming here illegally. We're taking care of other countries by sending them aid and everything like that before we're taking care of our own people. And that's what we need to change in this country. We need to start taking care of our people here first before we can take care of somebody else. It goes back to the whole dating thing. If you do not love yourself, then how can you love somebody else or help somebody else? You can't. And yes, I've actually, in 2008, I wrote my name in for president because I got tired of both political parties because they're basically the same party. Now, I don't want to get too political in this show because the show is not just the political thing. We'll eventually get a guest on to talk about it, but we're not going to get political on this show. It's not what the show's about. It's a wide potpourri of different topics. So, let's get into another question. Let's get back to the paranormal for a moment. We're going to kind of skip around between the paranormal and, of course, stuff like dating and relationship. We're going to skip around, but also, if you want to call into the show and win a book, when I'm giving them away. I'll mention when we're giving them away. You must call into the show. Also, feel free to pop in the speaker chat. It's open. I'm in there. Nicole's in there. Everything like that. Don't be shy. Pop in, say hi, let me know you're listening. You don't have to call in. You don't have to do anything else. Just pop in, let me know you're listening. If that's all you want to do. But I also have the phone lines open where you, the listeners, can call in, share your stories, experiences, or questions. Numbers to call in are by Skype at Talking the Night or by phone at 817-717-5561. So let's get into another question. And, of course, the book giveaway for Eva Fulton's book, Welcome to My People Garden, has expired. I will give that away at a later time. I might actually give it away to one fan of the show sometime next week. I don't know. Just, you must follow Talking the Night on Facebook to find out if you got a chance to win that book, because who knows, I might post something, I might not. So if you don't follow the post from Talking the Night, you might miss your chance. So the next book we're going to give away, we're going to do that in about 3 minutes until the next commercial break, or maybe past the commercial break. No, we'll do it in 3 minutes and up to the commercial break. You must call in to win the book. I'm not going to mention what the book is until we get to that point. So let's get into another thing here. And matter of fact, I want to go to Facebook.com because Nicole asked a question in her group and everything like that, and I wanted to answer that question, and I just got to get to it just so I can find that question. But it had to do with OBEs. And for those that do not know what OBEs are, they're out-of-body experiences. And, of course, my computer is being stupid. That's not letting me get there. But basically, the question was, has anybody experienced an OBE? And, of course, I'm pretty sure I have. But I've done a lot of astral travel. But I don't ever remember having an OBE. And of course, I've never had an NDE, which is a near-death experience, which we talked about last night on the show with my guest. But I do know somebody that has had a near-death experience. They were on my show back when I hosted PRT Paranormal Talk, the precursor to this show. And he talked about being there, standing over his body as the paramedics were working on him. And he could see and hear everything that was going on. But, of course, they did not know that he was there. But luckily, he came back and was able to share that story with me and my listeners of PRT Paranormal Talk when that show was going on. Alright, so we're at 15 minutes till the next commercial break, so I want to give away another book to one lucky listener. You must call into the show, and it must be during live tonight, not any other night, tonight, to win this book. And the book that I'm going to give away now is a free Kindle copy of Laurie Champion's book, bringing the paranormal field out of the dark ages. Only one book per listener. If you already won a book, you cannot win another. Or at least tonight. You must call in to win the book. So, again, my computer is being stupid, so please forgive me if it sounds like I'm taking time to get to another question, but don't leave me doing all the talking. If you got a question or a story or experience, call into the show. I promise you, I do not bite. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Let's get into a question about the metaphysical aspect of things. Using crystals. Okay, here we're gonna use this one, or look at this one. 7 easy magical ways to use crystals. Now, do you use crystals and stuff like that? That's the question. And of course, being a Wiccan, I have used crystals. Like quartz has a property in them that is got a high energy to it. Crystals have that property that allows them to conduct forms of electricity. I mean, there was a crystal that I could put in somebody's or in my hand and have the person put their hand in a closed fist, put that crystal in a closed fist, have them put their hand a couple of inches above my hand, the closed fist, and they could feel the heat coming off of that crystal because of the high energy properties of the crystal, and it was a quartz crystal. And quartz has that property of it that allows it to be more energetic. Not energetic, but high energy, allowing like a certain energy field. A lot of the world's obelisks have that crystal in them. And, of course, according to ancient alien theorists, that these obelisks all around the world have, like, connecting an energy field, a wireless energy from one place to the next. So this brings up an interesting thought. And, of course, everybody knows that Earth is protected by a magnetic field. Just seeing something. But magnetic field that protects us from the solar rays and everything like that. And could these magnetic fields or the magnetic field around our Earth be the cause of these crystals from these obelisks bouncing signals all around the world? Quite possible. We don't know that if that's the case, but of course the magnetic field in our whole Earth, because there are tons and tons of crystals, especially quartz crystals in the Earth and the crust and everything like that, and that is what gives us that magnetic field. That's what gives us that protection from the solar rays. So crystals have a lot of power to them. And quartz crystal is probably one of the best and most powerful crystals out there. And I'm not talking about the fake crystal. You have to get the real quartz crystal. So you guys got 9 minutes if you want to win Laurie Champion's book, Bringing the Paranormal Field Out of the Dark Ages. You must call in to win the book. You cannot win it any other way tonight. You cannot pop in the chat and say, I want the book. No, you must call in to win the book. All right, so let's get into something else. Let's find another topic other than the paranormal, other than dating and relationship, other than political stuff. Let's see, society and culture. Let's see what we got here. Now, with Christmas 25 days away, here's a great question. And, of course, with all the technology, with e-cards, with people talking over phones or internet and everything like that, does anyone still send traditional Christmas cards? And yes, to a certain extent. I actually have a family member, a cousin of mine, that is got my address so that she could send me a Christmas card this year. So people do send Christmas cards. A lot of times people send the Christmas cards to the military, those serving overseas during this time of year. So, yes, physical Christmas cards, I don't think are ever going to go out of style, because the e-cards, those can always be deleted or wiped out. But with a physical Christmas card, that, unless it gets wiped out by a fire or something like that, or damaged or anything like that, or tossed away, it's going to last for quite a long time and bring back memories. Whereas the e-card doesn't feel as personal. So yes, people do send Christmas cards still today. Let's see. Okay. I just got to see what the thing is. Okay, it didn't get really too much in depth to it. It just had the question. And the question was, what is the purpose of dying? The purpose of dying is that's the way everything goes. I mean, everybody's meant to die. We haven't found a fountain of youth where we can live forever. We're not vampires. So, yeah, I mean, what is the purpose of dying? Well, it happens to everybody. There's no really rhyme or reason to dying or anything like that. It just happens. So I just had to read that question and answer it. Again, I'm not going to do anything about music. I'm not going to do anything about sports. That's not my topic. That's not my genre of knowledge. And it's just something that I don't really want to talk about on the show. Let's see here. Let's go to one environmental. And everybody talks about global warming, so I'm going to click on that. See what we got here. Now, I personally believe that this earth goes through cycles, and we're in one of those cycles. Now, do I believe that we helped it along a little bit? Quite possible. But it's not just strictly because of what we've done here on Earth. This Earth goes through cycles. There were many different... when people think the Ice Age, they think only the one Ice Age. But the Earth has been through many different Ice Ages. And archaeologists... that study and geologists that study the rocks and stuff like that have found that this earth has gone through multiple ice ages, and it's going to happen again. It's a whole cycle and everything like that, and it's going to happen. When? We don't know. But to say that we're the cause of global warming, I mean, the ice sheets are melting, but there are times when that ice sheet has actually thickened in this time. So, I'm trying to think of the name of the author, and I'm going to look it up real quick. But there is a book out there, and I'm trying to think of I've heard him on Coast to Coast AM before, and I can't think of the author of the book, but and the book's title is Not by Fire but Ice, but by Ice. And I want to find out who wrote that book. Robert Felix. I don't think that was who it was. I don't want to say it was Robert Felix. It was somebody else. But Robert Felix did write a book called Not by Fire but by Ice, and I'm trying to think of the author's name if I can think of it, but yeah, he was a guest on Coast to Coast AM and talked about I believe it was actually, maybe it was Robert Felix that wrote the book, but I believe Jerome Corsi mentioned about Not by Fire but by Ice, and explained that the Earth goes through many cycles, and we're bound to hit that ice age again. So we're at the last commercial break of the night. If you didn't get a chance to win Laurie Champion, wrong one. If you didn't have a chance to win Laurie Champion's book, bring the Dark Ages, Paranormal Fill out of the Dark Ages, I'll give you away another time. But we're going to be right back with the last segment of the show with more questions. Again, it doesn't have to be about the paranormal. It can be about anything. Or yours. Call in, share your stories or experiences. We'll be right back. For a limited time only, get 70% off a digital version of Creation Abomination when you click on the banner ad at the top of the Talk in the Night website and mention Talk in the Night. Also, if you click on the Goodreads link beside Alan Thompson's picture on the Guest of the Show page on the show's website, you will be entered into a contest where you could win a free digital copy of his book. Only 100 are be given away. This Christmas, pick up a copy of Lloyd Champion's book, Bringing the Paranormal Field Out of the Dark Ages for just $2.99 on Kindle, or purchase the paperback for just $9.99 when you click on the banner ad at the top of the Talk of the Night website. Also, this Friday during Open Lines, you have a chance to win a free Kindle copy of the book. By clicking on the Spiritual and Broke banner ad at the top of the Talk in the Night website and you sign up on Jennifer Noel Taylor's website, you will get the first 3 chapters of her new book, Spiritual and Broke. And this Friday, one lucky listener will have the chance to win a free copy of her new book when it comes out, as well as her other book, Love Incorporated.
Dark night, all alone, I hear noises, but no one's home, so I walk out of my bedroom, looking around, don't know what to find, I'm freaking out, can't sleep anymore, gotta watch out. I hear knocks at the door, maybe it's paranormal activity, or am I just...
To call into the show, Skype Talk in the Night, or by phone at 817-717-5561. And now back to Talk in the Night with more of your open line phone calls. Okay, and again, the phone lines are open if you want to call into the show, share your stories, experiences, or even ask a question. It doesn't have to be about the paranormal. It can be about anything. As you can find here tonight, that I've talked about different topics. It wasn't just about the paranormal. It was about a wide variety of things. Now, I want to mention, I just got this news feed coming across my phone that the 41st President, George Herbert Walker Bush, has passed away at the age of 94. My condolences go out to him and his family and everything like that. Whether you loved him or hated him, still deserves the respect as a person, and of course as a former president. So, yes, George Herbert Walker Bush has passed away at the age of 94. So this last segment, we're going to start right now by giving away the last book of the night. If you want to call in, win the book, or you want to win the book, you must call in to the show. First person to call in wins the book. That book is by Jennifer Noel Taylor, which we had on the show on Wednesday, talking about spiritual and broke. When the book comes out, you'll have a chance to win the new book, which is Spiritual Broke, plus her other book, Love Incorporated. Now, the book is not going to come out until sometime early next year, but you have a chance to win it now, and you'll probably get the first copy of the book. But you must call in to win. If nobody calls in like the other 3 books, or the other 2 of the other 3 books, then it will go on to another week. Or I might do something on Facebook about it, trying to give those books away. Because I'm trying to promote this show. I'm trying to get more people listening in. I'm trying to get more people to pop in the chat room, say hi, let me know they're listening, join the discussion and everything like that. But I can't do it without your help. If you listen to the show, you like the show, share it around. Tell people, tell your friends and families about the show. Because again, this show doesn't just cover the paranormal. We're going to have guests on talking about dating and relationships. We're going to have people talking about health issues. We're going to have people talking about technology, all kinds of topics. This show is open to all of it. And I'm going to bring those guests on to talk about that. And of course, Friday nights, I'm opening it to everything. Except for sports and music, because that could get you in a lot of legal trouble if you talk about a sports team or music, especially when you play music that you don't own the rights to the copyright, or play a clip from sports, even other things. That's why I never really play a clip on any other topic, because unless I got permission from the person that owns that clip. So, again, no sports, no music, but except for the music that I played during the commercial break, which is all copyright-free music, and everything like that. So I don't have to worry about legal issues of using that music. And personally, I think that if your music is out there, if somebody wants to use it for a show, let them, so that way they can promote your music. I mean, what better way of promoting something by word of mouth and letting the music play? But I understand that they have to make the money, but people are always going to buy CDs. They're going to download the song. But if they're going to download the song or something like that, let them use it to promote the music. I mean, the songs that I've written, I don't mind somebody using them because it's going to get the word out there about my song. But that's just my thought on it. So if you want to win Jennifer Noel Taylor's book, Spiritual Broke and Love Incorporated, 2 books for the price of 1, basically, free. You must call into the show between now and near the end of the show. If you don't call in, you don't win the book. Simple as that. So let's get into some other things here. Let's see. How about... And let's look at games and recreation here on Yahoo Answers. And I'm going to click on amusement parks because I used to work at an amusement park. I've worked at a few of them. I worked at Six Flags down in San Antonio in 2001. I've worked at Castle Park for 4 years. I love that work as far as operating the rides and connecting with the guests and everything like that. But it just didn't pay the bills. It wasn't enough. Let's see here. Let's find a good question here. Okay. This one has nothing to do with amusement parks, but This says, how do we make Wednesdays illegal? Really, some of the stupid questions that are on Yahoo Answers that I just can't resist but bring light to it. I mean, the stupidity of some people. I mean, why would you want to make Wednesday illegal? It's just weird. I mean, I can't fathom the thought of what's going through people's minds on something like that. Let's see. Let's see. There's a lot of questions about Disneyland, and I can't tell you much about Disneyland. I don't. It's been a long time. I think 2003 was the last time that I went to Disneyland. So it's been a long time, and it's going to be even longer now because I am a good 1,500 miles away from Disneyland. But I'm close to a Six Flags here, which probably sometime next year I'm going to go to. I want to check out this Six Flags out here. Because I worked at the one down in San Antonio, and that one was a cool park to work at. But I want to check out this park. But let's see. I'm trying to find a good amusement park question. Okay, here's a question in the chat room about Disneyland, and this question I do know. This question I do know about Disneyland, and the question is, they read that Disneyland might be haunted. Is that true? Yes, the park is haunted. I do have people that work at Disneyland, one that worked at Castle Park, and he mentioned about, because I guess he works in the security field there, and he was working late night and all the monitors turned on by themselves. And maybe that's the way the system was set up, but there have been reports of Walt Disney's ghost haunting the Cinderella Castle. Or, no, not Cinderella Castle, the firehouse. Because Walt, believe it or not, had a apartment there at Disneyland. And many people did not know that Walt had his own personal apartment there at the park. So that is where his spirit sometimes resides. There have been rumors that the Haunted Mansion is haunted because people have spreaded their loved ones' ashes on the ride. And that's coming from Disneyland Park employees that have had to clean up the ashes. Yes, there is a special group that goes in to clean up the human ashes, the human remains, if you will, on that ride because so many people scattered their loved ones' ashes on that ride. There have been reports of somebody that died on Space Mountain when that was a ride. Now I believe it's a Star Wars ride. That's how long it's been since I've been to Disneyland. That back when Space Mountain was around, that somebody died on that ride, and that ride is haunted. I can go on and on about some of the hauntings at Disneyland. You can find out for yourself. Again, I got people that work at friends that work at Disneyland that used to work at Castle Park, and they've talked about the hauntings that go on there at Disneyland. So to answer the question, Disneyland is very much haunted. You can find all kinds of information on it out there. So let's see if we can find a good amusement park question. Let's find a good one. Are you scared of roller coasters? Me? No, I love the thrill of a roller coaster. While most people are screaming in terror, I'm enjoying it. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love the thrill of it. Now, of course, with my bad back, I can't really do it much anymore, or at least the harder roller coasters. But yes, I do love roller coasters. Now, there are some people that cannot handle roller coasters. One of my exes are my only person that was actually engaged to. She was afraid of roller coasters. She was even afraid of the log ride at the amusement park that I worked at. And just because of the speed and the drop and everything, that's what frightened her. I nearly got my arm taken off by her because... no. Wasn't at the park that I worked at. It was... I believe it was at Knott's Berry Farm. We were going down the log flume and nearly got choked out by her sitting behind me because she was frightened of the drop. One time she nearly ripped my arm off because she was frightened of it. But I did get her on one roller coaster at Disneyland, and that was Thunder Mountain. And that one she could handle. But, to me, I love roller coasters. Now, there is a ride that I hate with a passion. And just the thought of it makes me cringe. I don't want to mention the name, but because she got on a roller coaster, I agreed to go on one ride that she wanted to go on at Disneyland. And I'll tell you why I hate this ride with the passion. Because this is what... I mean, I don't have fear of the ride. I just hate it with a passion. Because I actually got stuck on this ride for 2 hours on my graduation night. So, I was stuck listening, and you would think that the employees would pay attention to the cameras and notice the bolts are not coming out, and I'm giving away some of the details here. It was a boat ride. Trying not to say the name of the ride because I just cringe at the name of it. But you would think that the employees would pay attention to the camera, especially that late at night. But, of course, we happened to get a ride operator that kind of fell asleep at the wheel, if you will, and did not notice the boats were not coming out. And what happened is the boat in front of me, he had overloaded it because I guess he wanted to get everybody out of line as quickly as possible. Well, halfway through the ride, that boat that was overloaded sunk down into the ride. It didn't actually sink to where people were in the water, but it sunk to the bottom of that track to where it could not be moved. Even when the people got out of the boat, it did not raise up. That's how heavy it was. But it sunk, and I was in the boat behind it. And, of course, my boat and every other boat behind it got stuck behind that boat because we could not move forward. And it was 2 hours till somebody finally noticed that we were in there. And, well, I was stuck listening to the same song over and over and over for 2 hours in French. I've worked hard to forget about that ride and that song because for like 2 years afterwards, I can recite the whole song in French. And I know very little French, but this is what happened. And it was, it was said in the chat room. Like I said, that ride, and as much as I hate saying it, it's a small world. That ride I hate with a passion. I will avoid it when I go to Disneyland. I will walk way around it just to get past it. I hate it with a passion. So there are some rides that I do hate, but I love the thrill rides. I love the roller coasters. I love anything with a thrill. But that ride, now, if I ever get married and have kids, I will do it for my kids. I will get on that ride for my kids, but only once. After that, forget it. And I'm bringing earplugs with me and closing my eyes. But I will get on it with my kids. I'm not going to deprive my kids of getting on that ride, but the way Disneyland prices are going nowadays, I don't think I'll ever go. Who knows? So, we are almost out of time here. Let's get into one more question before the end of the show. And I'm going to give you everybody a last chance to win. In the next 3 minutes, if you call into the show, you can pick your choice of book. And you must not win a book before tonight. If you already won, you cannot win again. But in the next 3 minutes, if you want to win a copy of either one of these books, Eva Fulton's Welcome to My People Garden, Lawyer Champion's Kindle copy of Bringing the Paranormal Field Out of the Dark Ages, or Jennifer Noel Taylor's book, Spiritual and Broken, Love Incorporated. You get to choose which one you want to win, but you must call in the next 3 minutes and say you want to win a book. Then you get to choose which one you want. Just trying to give those away. If nobody wins them, I will give them away at a later time. So let's see what we got here. Let's find a good question here. And I'm trying to find a good one here. But I don't know if I'm going to find one question before. Well, I'll tell you what. We're not going to answer another question tonight. Real quick, thoughts on past lives and reincarnation. Bill asked me about, one of my listeners asked me about past lives, and I'm going to get something off to him because he wants to learn about past lives and past life regression and everything like that. But thoughts on past lives, I believe that we have multiple past lives. Our souls keep coming back. But to each their own belief system. So, we're running out of time. Again, next week, I'm going to take off the week just to handle some personal issues. I will run rebroadcast of the show, so please bear with me. I didn't think I was going to have to take off the whole week, but the guests that I'm going to contacted for next week, I'm going to have to contact them back, reschedule them for a later show, or a later date and everything like that. But we're going to get some great guests on, and especially at the end of this year, I believe, let me see here, just because we're running out of time. Just trying to think of what day. On Friday, December 28th, we're not going to do open lines that night. We're going to actually do my annual prediction show where I'm going to bring on multiple guests. We're going to extend the hours of the show to where we're going to have multiple guests on the show talk about predictions for the upcoming year. I do the annual prediction show every year, and of course, actually it might be a whole week long thing of shows on predictions. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that. That whole week, I'm going to do, each show is going to be prediction shows with guests talking about their predictions. And then, of course, that Friday night, the 28th, I'll do my annual prediction show where it's a special open lines where you can call in, make your predictions for the following year, as well as I'm going to read off some predictions that were made last year and let you know if those predictions came true or not. So, and we're out of time, so until the next time that I broadcast, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you listen live or the recorded show of this. So until next time, I shall see you on the dark side. Good night from Talk in the Night.